Hi everybody, welcome to today's session. My name is Sheena. I am a wellbeing coach and a mindfulness practitioner. I work with individuals, families, one-to-one and in schools as well. I've also got my two little girls with me here today as well. So this is Sienna and this is Isla. So today's session is all about returning to school. So next week it's September, it's the beginning of school, and I want to share some tips and techniques with you because all children may be going through lots of different emotions, different feelings about how they feel about returning to school. So if you are a parent or a carer or a child watching, I really hope you can take away something from today about looking forward and feeling good about going back to school. Now, all children will be feeling completely different to the next child. Some children may have gone back to school last term, in the last term of summer, so they may have gone for a few days or a few weeks, but some children haven't gone back to school for a good 5-6 months. So everyone's experience is completely different, and everyone's emotions and feelings about returning to school are also going to be really different. So I really hope that when I share my 6 tips on how you can start feeling good and looking forward to school, that this will help you when you start to return. So we could be feeling, as children, even as parents, lots of different emotions. We could be feeling worried, we could be feeling nervous, we could be feeling scared, we can feel happy, motivated, excited. Lots of different emotions could be going through in the lead up and the build up to returning to school. So I want to share with you 6 tips on how you can manage some of these emotions and start feeling good about the return to school. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so my tip number 1 is all about breathing. Now I love this tip all about breathing and practicing some good deep breathing, because you can do this absolutely anywhere, any place, anytime when you're feeling a little bit anxious, worried or nervous. So breathing is really important, of course, because it keeps you alive, but how you breathe is also really important. So I want to teach you how to do some belly breathing. Now when you breathe right into your stomach, nice good deep breaths, it tells your brain, I want to relax. So when you're feeling a bit worried or feeling a bit anxious and you start doing some deep breathing, after a couple of minutes you will start feeling calm and you'll start feeling relaxed. So you can do this absolutely anywhere. So maybe you're on the walk to school on your first day, maybe you're in the car to school on the first day, maybe even during the day at school when you're feeling a bit nervous or worried about anything, you can start doing this deep breathing and you can start feeling calm. So how do we do deep breathing, you may be wondering? So I'm going to give you a little demonstration with the girls. So if I get you to link your hands, and when you're doing this at school or anywhere, you don't have to link your hands, it's just to show you how it feels to do a good deep breath. So linking your hands, popping it on your stomach, and I want you to imagine that there is a balloon in your stomach. And as you breathe in, you're going to really inflate that balloon. So when you inflate your balloon, your stomach's going to come out. You're going to hold your breath for a second and then let go. So let's give this a go, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so take a deep breath in. So as you feel your stomach coming out, the balloon's inflating, you hold your breath for a second and then you release. And you feel your stomach coming back in. And then again, take another deep breath in. Stomach's coming out. And let go, release. One more time, take a deep breath in. Hold it. And release. And you start feeling that calmness. So when you're at school, you don't have to link your hands and pop it in your stomach. You can just breathe in nice and deeply into your stomach so you can feel your stomach coming out, hold it, and then let go. So if you just do that 5 times, 5 good big belly breaths, that will start making you feel relaxed. So that was tip number 1, nice good deep belly breathing. Number 2, it's really important to talk about how you feel and share your feelings. Often we can be thinking things, feeling things, and it's hard to let somebody know, but it's really important that you share how you're feeling with a grown-up, with a parent, with a teacher, so that they can understand that actually you're feeling something. And sometimes it's hard to know what we're feeling. We could be feeling something and we're not really sure how to say it. So I used to like having little cards, and I would say to my kids, pick a card and see which one of those is, what you're feeling. So pick a card that you think you may be feeling. So we had cards such as, what have you got here now?
I've got worried and sad.
So we had these little cards, and we'd have a little pile of these cards with things like worried, sad. What have you got, Isla?
So I've got scared. You might be scared, and you might be a little bit nervous.
Nervous. So we'd have a little pile of cards, and I say to my girls, because I would think, oh, are they feeling something? Are they wondering something? You know, which one of these cards are you feeling right now? And they would pick one, and they would say, I am feeling worried, or I am feeling sad, or I am feeling scared or nervous. You can also have good feelings as well. So you can think about, I'm feeling happy, or I'm feeling excited. Whatever you're feeling is absolutely okay. Whatever you're feeling is absolutely normal. If you're feeling one of the ones that you're not sure about, or that's not making you feel good, we want to talk about those and say, you know, what is it about those feelings that's making you feel that way? So if you're feeling happy and excited, brilliant. And I want to know why as well. Why are you feeling happy? Why are you feeling excited? I want to share with this as well. But if you're feeling worried or feeling sad, feeling nervous, let's talk about this. So what I would say to my girls is, I would do a sentence starter. So I would say, I am feeling worried because, and then they would finish the sentence for me. So some of the things that my children may be worried about, and that you may be worried about, is, for example, what would you say? I'm feeling
maybe nervous of school because things might be different from the way it was last time. The rules might be different and stuff like that. Maybe you don't know what will happen.
So Isla may, for example, say, I'm feeling nervous about how things will be different, how things will look different when she goes back to school, because it may be different from when she left school because of what's been happening. You know, will the rules be different? We'll have to maybe sit differently, maybe have to be in a different place, and it's that unknown. So Isla may say, I'm feeling nervous because of that reason, and then we can maybe talk about that. And, you know, what is it about that that's making you feel nervous? So if things are different, what about it is making you feel a bit nervous? So we talk about that. And Sienna, for example, might say,
I'm feeling worried. Maybe because you might miss your parents because you've been at home for a long time. And you might miss if you have pets, you might miss them and your parents when you go back to school.
So Sienna might say, I'm feeling a bit worried because I'm worried I'm going to really miss my mum and dad when I go to school, and when I'm at school I'll be missing them and I might not enjoy school so much. And we can talk about that. So I can say, okay, so you're feeling a bit worried because you have to go to school and you might be missing your mum and dad. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what we can do to make things feel better. So tip number 2 is communicate, share your feelings. Let's put some words on the feelings you may be experiencing and let's have a little chat about it. And this leads on to tip number 3, which is managing your emotions and managing how you feel with these as well, and resonating and understanding. So children, we really want you to feel understood, that we're really listening to you as grown-ups. So if you're telling your parents or a carer or a teacher, the teachers and parents and grown-ups, you know, we want you to feel understood. So I would say to my children, I completely understand why you would feel that way, because, you know, you've been home with me for so long, okay? So going back to school, it's going to feel a little bit scary, a little bit nerve-wracking. And I totally understand that if you go back to school, you're going to feel a little bit worried about how things may be new or things may be different. I totally understand that, and your feelings are absolutely normal. So I'm making them feel really understood, okay? And it's really also important to then resonate maybe as well. So I could give an example as a grown-up of a time I felt a bit like that. So I might say, I really understand, because when I came back from a long holiday and I had to go back to work on my very first day, I also felt a bit nervous and a little bit worried too, because I wasn't sure what it would feel like to go back to work after a long time, and I felt the same feelings. I totally understand how you feel. Then I would maybe manage those emotions, and I would say, okay, Sienna, so you might be feeling worried that you're going to miss me. That's great, because I'm really going to miss you too, and that's really nice, because that shows that you really care for me. But what I will also say is, when you go to school, really focus on school and really enjoy school, really be present when you're at school. But how about when you come home, we can have some extra time together, we can do some extra reading together, we can have a special dinner together. And Isla, you might be feeling worried about going to school and not knowing, you know, if things are going to be different. How about if you maybe speak to a teacher beforehand, or how about if I have a little word with a teacher that you're feeling a bit like this? Or if things are different and you're feeling a bit worried, you know, you can also speak to the teacher too. And maybe you can share your thoughts when you come home, how things were. So it's really important that we can manage. So we find out what the feeling is, and then find that little bit of a solution with it as well. Okay. So number 4 is making the unfamiliar familiar. So tip number 4, making the unfamiliar familiar. What do I mean by that? So we have been in a bit of a cocoon, a bit of a bubble. We may not have seen that many people as we usually would for the last few months, and we've been in this environment for so long now. So going back to school, going back to routine and structure can seem a little bit unfamiliar. Going back into a social environment with lots of people, learning new ways, learning new things, being with new teachers, that's a little bit unfamiliar right now. So what I want to start doing is making things familiar again. And there's lots of things we can do for that. So we can start looking at your school bag. Can we make that a bit exciting? You know, what's in your bag right now? What can we add? Can we add maybe a special keyring to it? Can we maybe draw something on it? Can we add some new pencils or pencil case in it? Shall we start looking at your lunches? You know, shall we get excited about packed lunch or school dinner? Shall we pick those out and see what you're going to enjoy with that as well? Shall we look at your school uniform, make sure everything's fitting? Maybe getting back into the routine of going back to sleep early. We could be having late nights and late mornings. So let's have a look at going to sleep a bit earlier and maybe waking up a bit earlier and having that structure there. Let's look at all the things that we loved about school. You know, what did you enjoy when you were there last time? Was it your friends? Was it PE? Was it art? Was it a certain topic? Was it that funny teacher or that kind teacher? Let's talk about school again and see what you really, really loved about it. It could be your friends as well. Maybe you haven't seen your friends or spoken to them in a little while. Why don't we arrange like a little video call, a little phone call, or a little play date so we can start reintroducing the people and environment of school again. So tip number 5 is all about making the unfamiliar familiar. Sorry, tip number 4, making the unfamiliar familiar. Now, tip number 5 is one of my favorite ones, okay? So this is all about movement. So if you are feeling a little bit worried, a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous, let's get moving. Because when you start moving, what happens is it releases the happy chemicals from your brain into your body and you start feeling good. Because we want to feel good. It feels good to feel good, right? Yeah. So we want to feel good and continue feeling good and excited and motivated. So movement is really good. So if you're feeling a little bit low, a little bit down, a little bit sad, a little bit worried, let's get some movement in. So this could be a little dance in the living room, in the lounge. You can put the music on. You can go for a bike ride or a walk. You can run up and down the stairs. You can do some star jumps. You can go on the trampoline. Whatever you've got around you, just get moving. As soon as you start moving, all the happy chemicals start releasing in your brain and you start feeling good again. So movement is really, really important. So even if you're at school and maybe in the playground, even if you just start stretching your hands, wiggling your feet, maybe moving your head side to side, small movements where you can as well, just as important. But if you're at home, they just go crazy, right? So, yeah. And then my last tip is becoming a superhero. So this is really, really important, and I love doing this for the girls. So this is all about thinking about your superheroes. If you're thinking about Spider-Man or Superman, they've got all these spidey powers where they can make webs to transport themselves, or if you're Superman, you can start flying, or you can become invisible, or have any other magical powers. So superheroes have lots of magical powers that they use when they need them. So what I get the girls to do is picture in their mind being a supergirl or a super boy if you're a boy watching. So with the girls, I get them to picture themselves being a supergirl, and they transform themselves into this super person with superpowers. And they do this when they may be feeling that little bit anxious, worried, sad, angry, and they want to feel the opposite emotion. So Sienna sometimes wants to feel a bit more calm, so she'll visualize in her mind, she'll picture in her mind being a supergirl. And she'll have colourful rainbow hair, and she'll have rainbow arm sleeves, and her superpower will be instant calm, and she'll start feeling what she's imagining. With Isla, she starts imagining herself being that supergirl Isla. She's got golden sparkly glittery hair, glittery arm sleeves, glittery shield, and her superpower is feeling more courageous. So sometimes when she's feeling a little bit nervous about something, she'll visualise the supergirl power in her, supergirl person, and she'll start thinking, I am courageous, Isla, today. And that will start becoming her, because when you start thinking these things, you start becoming these things. So I hope you have enjoyed today's session, all about returning to school, feeling good about it, but whatever you're feeling is absolutely okay. But it's just about managing those emotions, feeling good, feeling motivated, feeling excited about the return to school. So I hope you've enjoyed these 6 tips. I hope you can take them away. I hope you can practice them. And if you have absolutely any questions, then please head to my website www.inspiring-success.com, and if you want to continue to see videos, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, girls, for being my helpers, and I wish you a good day.